Hey family, welcome back to another edition of the Opal Multiversity Solution. And in this video today we are having this laptop which is having a dim display, and I don't know whether you can view this. It's having a dim display. You can hardly see what is inside. So we would like to see how we can troubleshoot this problem, see how we can fix it, and come up with some good display right now. So a number of factors could lead to having a dim display, and number one, it could be because of an outdated BIOS system, or rather it could be, number two, it could be because of having a fault in the LCD, that is the liquid crystal display connectors, having some issues, or even being burnt out, or even the motherboard itself having issues connecting with the screen itself. Those are the cable wire that connects the screen to the motherboard. So let's dig in and see how. So this being an HP ProBook 440 G5 laptop, we need to first open up the entire casing and see how we can access that connection cable wire that connects the screen with the motherboard. So we start right away by first opening this cover. First cover here, then we go to the second cover, once we are done we can then first remove this hard drive. You can remove the hard drive gently. Once we are done removing the hard drive, we can remove this other screw here with the side. Then we remove two screws of the for the keyboard. These two, in case you want to replace the keyboard, you can always use these two screws. So let's first unscrew them. Remove the first one, and then the second one here. So once we are done, there is another third screw here that needs to be removed. So once we are done, we can then twist fold this screw and then open the laptop. But remember, all this is supposed to be done when the laptop is shut down. So once we are done, we can then get our press saw to remove the keyboard. Move gently and flip. Then open this keyboard lock and remove the keyboard. Once we are done, we then remove these other screws. We remove these other screws. That is screw number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we remove those other 6 screws. Once we are done, we then unlock these connectors. Unlock these connectors. Then there is this is the connector that connects the screen to the motherboard. So we need to first, it is the LCD wire connector that connects the LCD wire cable. So we need to open it. Then this one is the one that connects the speaker. We need to also disconnect it from the motherboard. So once we are done, we can then close and then flip open and then focus on opening these outer screws. So let's unscrew this outer screw. That is screw number 1, screw number 2, screw number 3 here, screw number 4, to screw number 5 here, screw number 6, screw number 7, screw number 7. So once we are done, we can then flip open the laptop itself, and then access using this as a pressure tool. Look for ways of opening it. Gentle and careful. Let's use this as a pressure tool. So once we remove this flame, we can then check this. Now for this particular HP ProBook laptop, the model number for this wire cable is the model number for this cable is an X8B NTS cable connector. And if you are to look closely, if I may bring it closer to you, it seems that I don't know whether you can view the connectors very well. Let me just see how I can zoom it. When you look at it closely, it looks to be having some fault. It looks to be having some burnings. If you can see, it looks to be having some burnings here and there on the connection pins, implying that it's having some fault. We need to check out on the wire cable connector screen, connecting the screen to the keyboard, that is the LCD cable connectors, and check it out and see exactly what the problem could be. So let's proceed and see how we can open it up right now. So now that we know that this X8B-NTS wire cable connector connecting the screen to the motherboard is having some issue or is faulty, we need to see how we can replace it. And the only way we can replace this for this model is by opening this screen and seeing how we can access it to the connection point connecting the screen. So let's first start by removing the screen cover. Start by removing the screen cover. You have to do this gently so that you see how you can remove the screen connector. So now that we have successfully removed this, we can then you can also do this in case you want to replace the screen. You can always disconnect it in this way and replace. So this is the connector we are interested in. So we need to first remove the screen itself of the frame, and for this we use a smaller Phillips screwdriver. Just 4 screws that we need to first remove. Now that we are done, we can first remove or secure the screen gently. This is our screen, and this is the connector that we need to replace. Now that we know that it's having issues with the connection lines, so we need to replace. So what that means, we need to replace the X8BNTS wire cable, and this is the model as you can read it here. So let's proceed by disconnecting. By disconnecting it off the you can only it has a sealing tape here, stepped. have to do this gently and carefully so that you don't affect the other end of the connector. So this is the model number of for the connector, for the the wire cable connector. That is the LCD wire cable connectors, and LCD stands for liquid crystal display cable wire connector that we need to replace, and it's X8BNTS cable connector, and it's this. So we need to replace with a newer one. I think I have one which is quite new here, and if you look, if you are to look closely with these connectors, there's a very big difference. I don't know whether you can see. There is a very big difference in the connectors. Let me just zoom it in, zoom it in, zoom in. Yeah. Oops. You realize that this one is much clearer, more better. Realize the difference between the new one and the old one. This one still has, this one is burnt and this one is not burnt. So that's how we can tell the difference. So let's proceed by replacing this LCD wire cable. So let's start right away. So let's start right away by connecting the screen itself, the screen connector. And carefully we need to fix this inside. Ensuring that it is fixed very well, and also ensuring that this connector is connected back to the upper side here. Ensuring that it is fitted. Ensuring that it is fitted very well. Now that this one is loose, we need to add some additional tape. Just make it firm. Just make it firm here. ensuring that the cable passes through its original pathway without any interruptions. We can then put back our screen. So we put back our screws, which have the 4 screws. Put back on the screws. Then we get our cover here. Gently. Ensure that the screen is fixed firmly. Once that is done, we can now reroute our cable here. And then connect it to the motherboard. Once that is done, we can then now put back our connectors and also put back our frame. Ensuring that we connect all the connectors. So we connect this one that connects to the hard drive, and this one also ensure that it is connected very well. These two connected very well. So once we are done with those connectors, we can then put back our keyboard. Once we are sure that every connector is connected firmly, we can then put back our keyboard. And for this keyboard, we need to connect it firmly into its connector here. Ensure that it's fitted in well into the connection port. Once that is done, we can then put back our keyboard. Press gently to ensure that every lock is fitted in properly. Once that is done, we can then flip open. rather flip close and then put back our hard drive. Connect it back into its port. This one also. Once that is done, we can then put back our cover, but before we do that, we can put back our cover here. Then we'll go ahead and put back the keyboard screws. For the keyboard, there are always two arrows, or rather two icons, keyboard icons, that demonstrate to you that they belong to the keyboard screws. So we firmly connect it back, and then this other well, this card seems to be loose, and we can tighten it firmly as we put back our cover. So once that is done, we can then put back our external screws. We can put back our external screws, starting with this one here, screw number 1. Oops. Put back screw number 1. Then you go to screw number 2. Screw number 2 here. We'll go to screw number 3. Go to screw number 4. Go to screw number 5. Then we'll go to screw number 6. And then number 7. So once that is done, we can then open our laptop and see whether we can now have full display without being dim. So we can turn it on. Can switch it on, and indeed, after replacement of the X8B NTS wire cable, we can now see that the HP logo is started successfully, and that's how we have changed the X8, and now that we have changed the X8B NTS wire cable, LCD cable, now we can successfully say that we have a full display screen. So thank you for watching this video, and see you into the next one. Cheers.